right, Superstock fans, not a lot of racing action this week, but the national title race came right down to the wire. It's pretty much over now. We'll talk about that in a second. Let's get to Ryan's recap, and then we'll get to this week's power rankings. So let's start with the 42nd annual Paul Bunyan Stockhardt Stampede over at the home of the Chicken Shack, Bemidji, Minnesota. The Iron Man, Shane Sobraski, he doubled up and he drove the final nail in the coffin of Kevin Burdick's national title hopes. Burdick's had a hell of a year. He really has, but Sobraski, he closed the deal. He sealed it up. He parked it in Victory Lane both nights. The national championship is going to the 7A. Burdick's going to get second, and tell you what, Sobraski's been really good. Now, let's head over to Wisconsin. The 41st annual Punky Manor Challenge of Champions over at the Red Cedar Speedway in Menominee. Jesse Radetsky in the 207. Biggest win of the season for the 207. Number 18, much needed because he didn't have any big wins. He didn't have any big ones. Lots of wins, 18 wins, but he didn't have that big one. He got second at the Shackleton over there. That one stung him a little bit because Burdick took that one from him on his home turf, and then he got a flat tire, I think, at Cedar Lake. So to park it in Victory Lane here at the Punky, and congratulations, Jesse Radetsky. He's put together a hell of a season, and he was my pick to win the Punky. I mean, he's had the best car there all year, had the best car at Cedar. I was surprised to see him. He said he missed a setup a little bit there in the feature. He was good in both preliminaries, so really no surprise, but his first one, too. First Punky Manor win for Jesse Radetsky, so congratulations. Now, Salmon Valley Speedway out in Idaho, kind of an interesting deal. I'm not even sure if they're sanctioned with SOTA, if they're paying their sanctioning fees, but they're trying to get that track back underway. Gentleman by the name of Chris Fuller, number 42, parked in Victory Lane. And man, there's a lot of nights out there, 2, 3 cars, 4 cars, 1 car, 2 cars. I mean, just crazy, but they're trying to get it rolling. They got multiple classes. I saw an article said that, they're pretty happy with kind of the overall support they're getting. Of course, now they want to build on car counts, but Chris Fuller getting the win out there in Salmon Valley. And you don't really hear a lot of racing in Idaho, but man, it'd be super cool if they could get things rolling over there. Now, the Granite City Motor Park, they had a standalone race on Sunday as well. Of course, their doubleheader coming up this weekend. Dexton Cook, he parked the 78K in Victory Lane after an impressive second-place finish over at the Wissota 100, and, of course, winning the Race of Champions. That win puts him right barely over the top and slid him into that third spot ahead of Trevor Nelson. So a huge win over there for Dexton Cook. So this week, national titles decided, but there's still a conversation here for third, and I expect Dexton Cook to race. I'm assuming Trevor Nelson's maybe going to make the trip over to Madison. Those two still in contention for that third spot. But this week, what's going on? Well, the big one, money-wise, is the Red Clay Classic up at the ABC Raceway in Ashland, Wisconsin. Heats on Friday, features on Saturday. That's one show. And then there's a couple races that have 2 shows. The 7th annual Lou's Madtown Showdown over at the Madison Speedway in Minnesota. They race Friday and Saturday over there. And then the inaugural Piston Cup over at the Granite City Motor Park. They're running Friday and Saturday. And remember, they got a Sunday rain date. So if Friday rains out, they'll be racing on Sunday. So let's get to it. The October 1st edition of the BuyRacers.com One to Go Show Superstock Power Rankings. At number 10, Jake Knapper. Very, very solid season for the 66. He's been very good. He's in the conversation every night, top 3 after top 3 after top 3. He only went to Madison 4 times, which surprised me. I thought he raced there more than that. I know he raced Monty pretty much every night. 2 wins, 2 seconds. That tells me he's pretty good over there, right? So he could be definitely a guy to contend with over at the Madtown Showdown. I'm assuming he's going to be there for the doubleheader. Keep an eye on that 66. At number 9, Diamond Dave Moss. 10-win season. He started out so good. I mean, he won like 5 or 6 right out of the gate, and then through the bulk of the season, had some motor issues, had some things go wrong. It just didn't go very good for him, and he didn't really focus like completely on the Superstock. He had the late Model 2, but I assume he's going to be at Granite City Motor Park with both cars. I'm pretty confident he'll be at the Fall Classic in Ogilvy with both cars. And I can assure you this, that 2M, he's got something to race for. He likes to win. And he's a guy right there that could win all 3 of those very easily. He could win all 3. Nothing against Shane Sobraski, But Dave Moss is a guy that could win, and I think he's going to win at least one of those. If I had to pick right now, if I had to put money on it, Moss will win one at Granite City. Number 8, Dan Misalki. Rough over at the Punky. Rough over at the Punky. He got tore up there. He busted something running up front. I think he was like in 3rd or 2nd at the 100, and he broke a trailing arm out and tore some stuff up in the back. Didn't get it back together right away. So the heat race didn't go well. Pulled off, came from the back of the B, and then he passed a bunch of cars in the feature. He'll be quick at Madison. He's going to go to the Lose Madtown Showdown. I expect the 22 to be a contender both nights. And number 7, Trevor Nelson. 19-win season. Impressive. Running basically 2 nights a week. No Sunday track. Talked to Todd Good over there at Casino. I'm like, man, you got to get some super stocks. He goes, you're not a super stock guy anymore. You ran mods last. You're a mod guy. I'm a super stock guy at heart, man. We got to get a few super stock shows. Trevor would have been in the conversation for a national title if he had a Sunday track. And I get it. He could have went to Wilmer Thursdays, Granite City on Sundays, but that's a long, long drive on work night, right? Excellent season for him. I expect to see him at Madison. He's a guy right there that has a shot. Him and Dexton Cook have a shot to battle it out for that 3rd and final spot. At number 6, Dexton Cook. I'm going to slide him slightly ahead because he's been really quick. The second, right at the end of the year here. The Race of Champions win. He got 2nd at the 100. He just won this last week at Granite. Moss got 2nd, and he's in 3rd right now in the national title race. Sounds like he had some motor issues. I think he maybe got something figured out, so I expect to see him over there. And that's a guy that could put it in victory lane. That 78's been really good. Now, up to number 5, the 207, Jesse Radetsky. Up until this past week, he didn't have a marquee win. That's kind of what he was lacking. Well, number 18 was a marquee win. It was the Punky Manor Challenge of Champions. It don't get much bigger than that. That's a big one right there. He got it done. Great. I mean, let's be honest. Right now, in super stock racing, I don't think there's anybody better at rolling the high side. He can run everywhere on the racetrack, but you get a little bit of a cushion up there, and he flat out gets around it. And I'm not sure if he's done racing for the year, if he's going to run anymore. He typically doesn't go to the red clay. I'm thinking that might have been it for him. But, man, you can't complain at a season like that. 18 wins on the year. You cap it off with the Punky Manor. Jesse Radetsky, good job, buddy. At number 4, Terrence Spacek. Aside from the 7-8, because Shane Sabraski right now is just, out of this world, right? He might be the hottest super stock driver in Wissota right now. He has been extremely good. He won the Wissota Classic, which little controversy there. He was up in the top 5 at Hibbing, won the Jimtown Showdown, should have won, no disrespect to Kyle Kopp, but he should have won the Legendary. He broke at the line, got 2nd at the Punky. Spacek has been really, really good to close out the year, and now he's going to his home track. He's going to the ABC Raceway. That's kind of right up the road from him. I expect him to be in the conversation up there. And another guy up there right now, if I had to pick to win right now, there's a lot of good drivers going to be there, including the next 2 I'm going to talk about. It's going to be between Terrence Spacek and Steve Stewart. Stewart's been really good up in Ashland. Those 2 are my picks, my pick and my dark horse pick at the red clay. Spacek, he's been impressive. At number 3, Superman, Dave Flynn. Fastlane Superstock Series champion, 10 wins. He's fast in Ashland. He's won a bunch of races up there. He'll be a threat. Rumor has it, if he sells his car, right, he's moving up the late model. So if you're a Superstock guy and you're like, man, I'm sick of racing against this guy, get somebody to buy the 29F, and he'll move up right on up into the late models. If not, you'll have to contend with him. At number 2, same story, Kevin Burdick. Hell of a season. Little bit disappointed, he's probably a little disappointed that he didn't seal the deal. But, let's be honest. Shane Sabraski, no disrespect to Burdick or Flynn, but Sabraski is, we'll talk about his numbers in a minute, just crazy. But you look at Burdick's at a season, right? 2nd in national points. I think he's got 32 wins on the year. He's got a pair of $5,000 to win shows. There ain't nobody else in Superstock racing that has that, right? Nobody else. So he has that. He has multiple shows that paid over $1,000 to win. Now, with the pressure off his shoulders, because it was wearing on him, right? With the pressure off his shoulders, no more points to deal with. he could be a guy to beat up at the red clay as well. Kevin Burdick at 30, he can get around them little bull rings. That's a turn and burn deal. That's his kind of forte. He's no joke. He's going to be good this weekend. And at number 1, the Iron Man, Shane Sobraski. 50, count them, 50 of 55 on the podium. Now listen to this. His first 2 shows of the year didn't do very good. I think he got like a 7th and a 5th. And they were both, one was at Cedar. He had a bent rear end housing. He's like, man, something's wrong with this thing. Pulled the housing out. Then he's been lights out ever since. 2 nights he pulled off because the tracks, he got rain at his respective tracks that he was at. It was Cowboy Up. He's like, I ain't going to tear up equipment. He doesn't like that Cowboy Up stuff. He pulled off. And one night at the Granite City Motor Park, he had a little altercation with a guy, got put to the back and got all the way back up the 4th, just off the podium. Other than those 5 nights, the 7A has been on the podium 50 times in 55 shows. That's unbelievable. That is like literally on another planet. That is crazy, right? Then you add on the fact that he won the Labor Day Shootout. You could argue that he got second at the Wissota Classic, probably should have won that one, right? He won both days of the Paul Bunyan Stampede. Oh, then there's that little race called the Wissota 100. He got that one done as well. Man, as good as some of these other guys' season are, I mean, it's pretty obvious the top spot's got to go to the 7A of Shane Sobraski.